Hello, and welcome to Fresh Fusion, a weekly show where we discuss the business, the art, the ethics of content creation on the open web. My name is Jared White, and this is episode 64. Is there a place for Tumblr in 2021? And that's the topic for today's show, so let's jump right into it. I posted an episode of the then Jared White show before it became Fresh Fusion, all the way back in August of 2019. Tumblr had just been acquired by Automattic, the commercial company that supports WordPress.com, is run by Matt Mullenweg. And in that episode, I sort of talked about the history of Tumblr and the whole Web 2.0 concept, how some companies had weathered the storm of the rise of mobile. The iPhone came out and Android became popular, and some companies that were already big or getting big at that point in this sort of social network user-generated content space, some companies made that transition, and some companies just never really seemed to make that leap. Flickr was one of those companies, and Flickr, interestingly enough, was a company that had been acquired by Yahoo and then eventually got sold off to SmugMug. And SmugMug's been around for a while as an independent company serving professional photographers. So there was somewhat of a legitimate, synergy there to bring Flickr into the SmugMug family. But it was a shadow of its former self. It was long past its height of glory at the time SmugMug purchased them. And the same thing with Tumblr. You saw Tumblr acquired by Yahoo in a big, flashy, fancy press release where Marissa Mayer, CEO of Yahoo, was going on and on about how amazing Tumblr was. And I think it was like $1 billion acquisition or something like that. And that was at the tail end. That was very much at the tail end of Tumblr's sort of shine in the world, as it were. And Yahoo was kind of the final straw rather than a renaissance for that company. Yahoo went through a bunch of crazy stuff. Verizon ended up with Tumblr, and they were like, we have no idea what to do with this. So it got sold for pennies on the dollar and acquired by Automattic. It was a chunk of change that they paid for it, but it was a mere fraction of the $1 billion+ acquisition cost previously. So Tumblr is now a private company, part of Automattic, which is a private company. And, the interesting thing about that acquisition was, Matt Mullenweg's always been about, open source and building community at large. And even though WordPress.com makes money, that money is made through essentially hosting and sometimes development costs, because Automattic helps build large WordPress installations for big companies. They're not in the monetizing eyeballs game. They never have been. So while Tumblr still has ads on it, I don't think that's not the primary objective for why Automattic owns Tumblr. They're not trying to get a piece of that sweet ad-driven revenue action. That's not why they're in this. So that's all a preamble to what happened yesterday. Here's what happened yesterday. I was reading an article, and I can't even remember exactly which article this was, but it was something about WandaVision, I believe. And it had, some examples of people posting like some memes or whatever. And, typically you see these sorts of things linking to, Instagram or Redis or something like that. But these were all Tumblr embeds. They were literally like Tumblr posts that had been embedded in the blog article. And I saw that, and it was funny. I just had this immediate reaction of like, oh, Tumblr, that's still a thing, huh? I'd forgotten all about Tumblr, which is a shame, because in that August 2019 episode of the show, I actually talked about how I was interested in trying out Tumblr again and setting up a new account just to, see what it's like once the dust settled from the acquisition by Automattic. And then I never did that. I basically forgot all about this trying out Tumblr experiment. So I saw this blog post yesterday with Tumblr embeds, and I thought, I wonder what Tumblr's up to these days. I wonder how it's going over there. So I went over to Tumblr and took a quick peek around, and you actually can't do much on the site without signing up, which is a little bit of a shame, I think. But it's not that all the content's closed. It's just that they don't really encourage you to to spend much time on the site without just simply signing up first. So I thought, what have I got to lose? Okay, I'll sign up. So I created a brand new login, my Hey email account. So totally new, totally starting from scratch, and sort of put myself in the mindset of, what if Tumblr had just been invented? What if this was an entirely new service that just came out? Is it cool? Is it interesting? What can you do with it? So this is a fresh look on the Fresh Fusion podcast at Tumblr in the year 2021. So a tiny bit of background on where Tumblr is now. I did my research, and it was actually very hard to find, but they do have an engineering blog. And apparently there's been a whole bunch of redesign work going on over the past number of months. They did a big refresh in April of their website interface, and have continued to iterate. So it looks like, at least over the past year, there's quite a bit of change, upgrades going on the platform. So my review of Tumblr now is a review of a service that has a lot of new aspects to it. This is not the Tumblr of 5 years ago or 10 years ago. All right, so first impressions. Whoa. There is lots of customization features, and it works on mobile too. The reason this is so surprising is I think we're all used to the fact that Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, all these services in the modern era of the internet are extremely buttoned up. You can't really change anything. YouTube's the same way. You can't really change anything. You can put in your little avatar photo. You can maybe upload a background photo at the top. You can, stick a little bio bit of text in there. You get one link on Instagram, like one. That's all you can do. And that's it. There's no formatting. There's no changing colors. There's no changing fonts. It's extremely samey for everybody, which is the exact opposite of the early days of Web 2.0. I mean, we all remember MySpace, where every different MySpace profile you'd go to would be, all these crazy colors and animated GIFs, and it was like the Wild West. Facebook kind of changed all that, and now all these services are so cookie cutter. I mean, you're not going to go to somebody's TikTok profile and see something radically different than someone else's TikTok profile. You're not going to go to someone's, you look at someone's Snapchat post and it's different than another Snapchat post. Tumblr is kind of unique in the fact that you can pick all these different font styles for making a post. You can pick monospace, you can pick serif, you can pick sans serif, you can change the sizes. You can do a whole bunch of customization on your own profile page. In fact, they have different themes, so it's more like creating a bespoke blog. It really surprised me, and I really like that. It's refreshing to see so many options for customizing things. And then when I was working on my Tumblr profile, I wanted to stick a couple links somewhere in there, and I was like, where's the link field? Where's the little website field where I pasted a URL? And then I started thinking, I wonder if I can just type in some HTML. So in my bio, I literally started typing out the anchor tag, angle bracket A space href equals, and I'm typing out HTML in my bio, and it worked. It worked. It's so crazy. It's so crazy that in the year 2021, quote unquote, major social networking platform, if you will, you could just type raw HTML into a text field and add links. So this was all very surprising and kind of refreshing. And then it got even crazier because I posted a couple photos, and then I was thinking, I wonder if there's a way I could just display these photos and link to these photos from my own website. That would be cool, because then I could use Tumblr for what I've really been wanting to do, which is, go to a place where I can just rapidly post photos as I take them on my iPhone. Because the iPhone 12 mini, I got it right here, this thing has an incredible camera on it. The iPhone 12 mini camera is just astounding in this tiny little package. So I love, everywhere I walk around, I can just snap some cool photos. And I want a place where it's easy to post these photos. And the thing is, Instagram was that place. Instagram started out as the place you post photos from your phone. And since then, it's become this just kind of yucky bunch of commercial garbage. I mean, Facebook has driven Instagram into the ground as far as I'm concerned. And that was another impetus for trying out Tumblr, is I'm probably getting off of Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm going to literally close my account and wipe it all out, but I'm barely even accessing it anymore. I don't even have the real app installed on my phone. I just go to the web app, because the real app has all this marketplace stuff, and there's fleets, and there's this, and there's that. They've added all these things that I just think are terrible. Old man yelling at cloud. I know I sound like that, but I'm just extremely disappointed with where Instagram has gone. The irony of Instagram in the year 2021 is, as a place to post photos, it really kind of sucks. I mean, you get these tiny little square regions of photos. It doesn't even allow the exact aspect ratio you want, because they squish down the vertical height if it's too high. You can't zoom in. On the website, you still just get these tiny little rectangles in the middle of your screen. You don't get full screen, high resolution photos. I mean, it's ridiculous. As a platform for sharing high quality photography, Instagram is terrible. So why are we all using it as photographers? That's dumb. I was hoping Flickr, after its acquisition by SmugMug, would kind of, take up this mantle once again of being the place to be as a photographer. But their mobile app isn't very good either, and nothing's changed. I don't see any changes that have been done materially on the Flickr platform since the acquisition in any ways that I care about, which has been disappointing. So save me, Tumblr! You're my only hope! So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm checking out Tumblr. I'm posting a couple photos. I'm thinking, wow, this is a really nice platform for posting photography, but is there a way I can integrate that with my own website? And I remembered seeing, just in passing, as I was browsing around looking at, basic help information or whatever, and looking at settings and stuff, I thought I'd seen something called RSS. RSS, can you believe it? A major social media platform in the year 2021 advertising that there's an RSS feed? Yeah, so I find that, I copy the RSS feed URL, and I then bring up my code editor and start working on some simple code in my Rails backend to pull down the RSS feed and transform that into some simple JSON. And then my website build process can consume that JSON and take that data and turn it into some thumbnails on the site. You can click on to go to Tumblr and see those photos. So that's all live now. Like an hour, maybe 2 of hacking, and my website at jaredwhite.com already has in the homepage sidebar the Tumblr photos I've posted so far. It's just there. RSS. Do you know how hard that is with Instagram? There is no easy way to get photos off of Instagram just through some kind of public feed and use it for whatever you want. So if I post my own photos on my own Instagram profile, I can't easily get those photos off of Instagram and put them on my website. It's just not a thing that you can do. You either have to scrape bits of JavaScript code embedded in the HTML of the page that you view when you download the website URL through your, in your code. It's crazy. Or you need to sign up for the Instagram API and get authorized and use API keys and blah, blah, blah. It's terrible. It's just terrible. I honestly don't know why anyone would want to use Instagram as a serious photographer in the year 2021, unless it's solely because of Instagram's size. That's it. That's the only reason to do it, is for the audience that's on Instagram because it's so big. That's it. Technically, it's terrible. Technically, Instagram is a terrible format for sharing high-quality photography. But, I was on Instagram for a while. I was trying to stick it out. I thought, well, this is where the audience is. This is where the people are. I'd better be here. I'd better keep sharing my photography here on Instagram because, I'm going to get the likes. I'm going to get the followers. Except I didn't. I didn't really. I still only have a little over 100 followers on Instagram, which is absurd. Don't get me wrong. If I post a photo and only 2 people like it, that's cool. I mean, it's not the end of the world. But, looking at it through a professional lens, ideally, my usage of Instagram would be, I post lots of cool photography in and around the Portland area. I get somewhat of a following that also dovetails with travel vlogging I do through YouTube. Cross-linking to each other there. I get a following. Opportunities start to come up. I can start working with local marketing agencies or businesses to promote travel throughout the Pacific Northwest and make more travel vlogs and make them more professional and maybe interview people and go maybe start some photography tours where people could come. And this was all, of course, my thinking pre-pandemic. A lot of this is not even possible right now, but pre-pandemic, this was my thinking. Start charging for photo tours where people that come to Portland could go on this cool photo tour and all this different stuff. So anyway, I had all these plans, all these reasons why I was trying to use Instagram. And even when I wanted to delete Facebook and I got rid of my main Facebook account and I'd done all those things, I still stuck with Instagram because, I need to just grin and bear it, right? But none of that ever materialized. I used all the hashtags, I posted stuff, I kept at it, tried to be consistent. Got shared a few times by much larger accounts, which is typically how you grow a following. But it just never materialized for me at all. So at this point in time, I'm like, there's no point to use Instagram. There's just no point. But that left a big void. It left this sort of gap where it's like, well, where do I post my photos? I don't think Flickr is that great of a place for mobile first photography. Twitter is not good at all for photography. So what do? Tumblr is the answer. I am absolutely convinced after only a short while of using it. I'm extremely impressed by how well Tumblr handles photography. You get a beautiful interface on mobile for viewing photography. It's really easy to post your photos there. You can zoom into a photo and it's high resolution. Like I'm just on my little iPhone mini phone screen scrolling through my feed of some people I'm now following, and I look at a cool photo and I'm like, ooh, that's really nice. Look at the detail. Look at the texture on the skin, on the cheekbone of that person. Oh, look at this bark texture. And I can zoom in and like see this beautiful high resolution photo on my phone. You can get big, almost full screen pop-up photos on the web interface just by clicking on the photo. So Tumblr is really nice for photography. And then on top of it, you get all these formatting features for posting regular notes or customizing your profile or whatever. So I'm impressed. I am very impressed. There are some kind of quirky aspects to Tumblr that sort of you begin to see the seams and realize, oh yeah, this was all sort of invented a long time ago, and it's not quite the seamless concept you expect out of a social network today. Just things like, why am I seeing this on my feed, or why am I getting like 20 posts by the same person all in a row? What's the algorithm here? Maybe some of this is just that I'm new and I'm not following very many people yet or whatever. It's a little confusing how some of the hashtag related stuff works. They do have hashtag support. You can post things with hashtags. You can search for hashtags. So it's like Instagram in that regard. You can follow hashtags. But it's a little unclear to me like how all that content gets surfaced up in your feed as you open up your Tumblr app each day. So yeah, there's just some little nitpicky kind of user experience things I noticed as I was using Tumblr. But in spite of that, I am already quite impressed by the service. The mobile app is fast, it's fluid. The web interface that they've done all this new design work on it, and the web interface is really nice. And again, like the whole reason of why I would sign up and use Tumblr is because I want a place to post photography and to find photography. I'm in love with the area I live in and work in here in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, and I want to try to find people that are shooting and doing cool artistic things here in this area. And also other fun places in the world. So, yeah. I would say there's definitely a place for Tumblr in the year 2021. And, if Automattic continues to iterate on the product and make it better and make it feel more modern and up to date and fresh, if they can, find ways to monetize the service so that's sustainable, then I think there's a good future for the platform. And I definitely think it's worth trying out if you have not used Tumblr before, or you only used it ages ago, and you're now, getting fed up with Instagram and trying to think of, what you could do differently in terms of find a place for content creators that's, that meshes well with highly visual media. Yeah, I think it's worth taking a look at Tumblr. All right, folks, that's it for today's episode. The next episode is going to be about sort of finding your creative zone in terms of where you live and work. It's so important right now in this pandemic times that the place where you live and work, which is often the same place. This is one half of my bedroom, this studio I'm in right now. It's so important that the place you live and work is, inspiring to you, feels creative, feels exciting. So I'm going to talk about that, talk a little bit about, my move to Portland, why I'm no longer in California, and also some comments on an article about, sort of these questions that have come up now about, suburbia versus urban living and all that. So that will be next time. But for now, Thank you for listening to the show. You can find me on my website at jaredwhite.com, where you can sign up for my email newsletter or see past episodes of the show. Hear. Well, I guess you can see them if they're video episodes. Anyway, I'd better stop talking now. Bye, everybody.